Marcus Chen walked down the long metal hallway of Haven's Rest mining station. His boots made soft sounds on the steel floor. The lights above him buzzed quietly in the empty corridor. It was his third night shift this week, and he felt tired. Marcus worked as a security officer on the asteroid mining station. Haven's Rest was far from Earth, floating in the dark space between planets. The station pulled valuable metals from space rocks. It was not exciting work, but it paid well. He carried his security tablet and checked each room on his list. Most nights were quiet. The miners slept during night shift. Only a few people stayed awake to watch the machines. Marcus liked the peaceful nights. They gave him time to think about home. As he walked past the data center, something felt wrong. The door should have been locked. A red light should have been blinking on the security panel. Instead, the light was green. Someone was inside. Marcus stopped walking. He listened carefully. He heard soft sounds coming from inside the room. Someone was working with the computers. This was very bad. The data center held important information about human mining operations and expansion plans. Only a few people had permission to enter this room. He touched his communication device. He could call for backup. But he wanted to know what was happening first. Marcus pulled out his stun weapon and opened the door slowly. Inside the dark room, he saw someone sitting at a computer terminal. The person had blue skin that seemed to shine with its own light. They had 4 arms instead of 2. This was not a human. Marcus had never seen an alien before. He had heard stories from other stations, but Haven's Rest was too small and too far away for alien visitors. His heart beat faster as he pointed his weapon at the stranger. "Stop what you are doing," Marcus said in a strong voice. "Put your hands where I can see them, Saul." The alien turned around slowly. Marcus saw that it was female. She had large silver eyes that looked sad and tired. Her blue skin had patterns that moved like water. She wore simple gray clothes that did not look like a uniform. She raised all 4 of her arms above her head. She did not try to run or fight. She just looked at Marcus with those big silver eyes. "I mean no harm," she said in broken standard language. Her voice was soft and musical. "I look for information only. I look for information only." Marcus kept his weapon pointed at her. "What kind of information? You are not supposed to be here." The alien woman looked down at the floor. "My people need new home. Our world dies. I look for places we can go." Marcus felt confused. He had expected to find a spy or a thief. Instead, he found someone who looked scared and desperate. But he had a job to do. "What is your name?" Marcus asked. "I am Zareth of the Velkari people," she said. She pronounced her name with a strange music in her voice. Marcus had heard of the Velkari before. They were a peaceful race that lived far away from human space. They did not trade with humans or visit human worlds. It was very strange to find one here. "Why are you here, Zareth?" Marcus asked. He kept his weapon ready but lowered it slightly. Zareth looked up at him. Tears ran down her blue cheeks. Marcus had not known that aliens could cry like humans. "Our sun grows sick," she said. "It burns too hot, then too cold. Plants die. Animals die. Soon my people die too. We send scouts to find new worlds. Places where we can live." Marcus understood now. She was not stealing secrets to hurt humans. She was trying to save her people. But this was still against the law. He had to arrest her. "I am sorry about your people," Marcus said. "But you broke into our systems. This is a crime." Zareth nodded sadly. "I understand. I do what I must for my younglings. You do what you must for your people." Marcus put electronic restraints on her wrists. The restraints would stop her from using any hidden weapons or tools. Zareth did not fight him. She walked quietly as he led her to the detention center. The detention center was small. It had only 2 cells because Haven's Rest rarely had prisoners. Marcus put Zareth in the first cell and made sure the door was locked tight. "Will you kill me?" Zareth asked through the clear wall of her cell. "No," Marcus said. "We do not kill prisoners. I will call the authorities." They will decide what happens to you. Quote, Zareth sat down on the small bed in her cell. She looked very small and alone. My younglings will not see me again, she said quietly. Marcus felt bad for her. He had a job to do, but seeing her sadness made his heart hurt. How many children do you have? He asked. 3 younglings, Zareth said. They are small. They need me to bring food and medicine. Without new home, they will not live through next cold season. Marcus knew he should not talk with prisoners, but he could not help himself. What about your government? Can they not help? Zareth made a sound that might have been laughter, but it was not happy. My government tries. They send messages to other races. They ask for help, but no one listens to small, weak people. Big races like humans own all the good worlds. Marcus felt uncomfortable. He had never thought about homeless aliens before. He only knew that humans needed space to grow and expand. He had not considered that other races might need the same thing. The information you took, Marcus said. What will you do with it? Nothing now, Zareth said. But it showed worlds that humans do not want. Dry worlds. Cold worlds. Worlds that are hard to live on. My people can live on hard worlds, if it means living at all. Marcus left the detention center and went to his office. He had to write a report and call the authorities. But he could not stop thinking about Zareth and her 3 children. He wondered if he was doing the right thing. Marcus sat at his desk for a long time before writing his report. He typed the basic facts. Alien intruder found in data center. Suspect arrested and held in detention. But he did not send the report yet. He walked back to the detention center. Zareth sat on her bed with her 4 hands folded in her lap. She looked up when Marcus entered. I must ask you more questions, Marcus said. It was not completely true. He wanted to understand her better. I will answer, Zareth said. Marcus sat down in a chair outside her cell. Tell me about your world. Zareth's silver eyes became distant. Velkara was beautiful once. We had blue oceans and purple forests. The cities grew from living trees that we shaped with our minds. We lived in peace for thousands of years. What happened to your sun? Marcus asked. Our wise ones say the star is old and sick. It burns the wrong colors now. Sometimes it gives too much heat and our crops burn. Sometimes it gives too little heat and everything freezes. Each season gets worse. Marcus felt his heart grow heavy. How many people live on your world? 40 million Velkari remain, Zareth said. Once we were twice that number. But the bad seasons have taken many. Marcus tried to imagine 40 million people facing death. It was too big to understand. Your government sent you alone? No. 12 scouts went to different parts of the galaxy. I chose human space because humans explore many worlds. I hoped you might have found places we could use. Did you find any good worlds in our data? Zareth nodded. 7 worlds that humans surveyed but did not want. They are cold and dry. The air is thin. But my people are strong. We can change our bodies to live in hard places. We only need somewhere to go. Marcus knew about those survey reports. The human government had marked those worlds as unsuitable for colonies. Too expensive to change. Too difficult to make comfortable for humans. But if the Velkari could adapt themselves, maybe those worlds could work. Why did you not ask for permission? Marcus asked. Zareth looked sad. We tried. We sent messages to human government 2 years ago. They said they would consider our request. We are still waiting. My younglings cannot wait much longer. Marcus felt anger rise in his chest. Not anger at Zareth, but anger at the slow, uncaring government bureaucrats. They were probably still passing Zareth's request from office to office while her people died. Tell me about your children, Marcus said. Zareth's face brightened for the first time since he met her. My oldest is Kethal. He is 12 seasons old. Very smart. He wants to be a scientist like his father was. My middle child is Vareth. She is 9 seasons old. She loves to sing and dance. My youngest is Nothal. He is only 5 seasons old. He asks many questions about everything. Marcus heard the love in her voice. She talked about her children the same way his sister talked about her kids back on Earth. Love was the same everywhere, it seemed. Where is their father? Marcus asked gently. He died in the 3rd bad season, Zareth said quietly. He worked in the food centers, trying to grow crops that could survive the changing sun. A chemical leak killed him and 40 others. Marcus felt sick. This woman had lost her husband and was now trying to save her children all alone. Meanwhile, he was sitting in safety on a mining station, earning good money and complaining about boring nights. I am sorry for your loss, Marcus said. Thank you. He was a good male. He would understand why I must do this. 4. Marcus stood up. I need to send my report now. The authorities will come for you soon. I know, Zareth said. Will you tell them about my younglings? I will try, Marcus said. But he knew it would not matter. The Galactic Enforcement Division did not care about personal stories. They only cared about laws and rules. Marcus went back to his office. He looked at his computer screen for an hour. The report was ready to send. One click would bring the authorities. They would take Zareth away. They would probably erase her memories and send her to a prison planet. Her children would never see her again. He thought about the 7 worlds that humans had rejected. They were listed as worthless in the database. No strategic value. No valuable resources. No plans for future use. They were just sitting empty in space while 40 million people faced death. Marcus made a decision that surprised him. Instead of sending the report, he walked to the data center. He accessed the same files that Zareth had been reading. He copied all the survey information about the 7 unsuitable worlds. He also found 3 more worlds that might work for refugees. Then he walked back to the detention center. Zareth was lying on her bed, staring at the ceiling. Zareth, Marcus said. She sat up quickly. Are they coming for me? She asked. Not yet, Marcus said. He held up a data chip. This has all the information you need. Complete surveys of 10 worlds that humans do not want. Locations, atmosphere readings, water sources, everything. Zareth stared at the chip with wide eyes. I do not understand. Why do you give this to me? Marcus thought about his answer. Because 40 million people should not die while bureaucrats push papers around their desks. Because your children deserve a chance to grow up. Because it is the right thing to do. But you will get in trouble, Zareth said. Maybe, Marcus said. But I can live with trouble. I cannot live with knowing I could have helped and chose not to. Marcus opened the cell door and removed Zareth's restraints. The next supply ship leaves in 20 minutes from Docking Bay 3. The pilot is asleep, but the ship is automated. It will take you to the edge of human space. Zareth stood up slowly. She could not believe what was happening. Why do you trust me? Because you could have hurt people tonight, but you chose to only look at files. Because you cried when you talked about your children. Because I think the galaxy needs more people like you in it. Zareth took the data chip with shaking hands. She looked at Marcus with tears in her silver eyes. Then she did something unexpected. She placed all 4 of her hands on her heart, then reached out and gently touched Marcus's forehead. This is the highest honor my people can give, she said. You have shown me that not all humans are cold and distant. Some have warm hearts that care for strangers. My people will remember this kindness. Marcus felt embarrassed but also proud. Go now, before I change my mind. Zareth hurried toward the docking bay. Marcus watched her go, then returned to his office. He deleted the real report and wrote a new one. System malfunction, in detention center. Prisoner escaped during power fluctuation. Security footage corrupted. It happened sometimes in the asteroid belt. Marcus sent the false report and sat back in his chair. He had probably ended his career tonight, but for the first time in months, he felt good about himself. The next morning brought trouble for Marcus Chen. Station Commander Williams called him into her office at 8 o'clock sharp. Marcus had barely slept. Every sound in the hallway made him think security was coming to arrest him. Commander Williams was a tall woman with gray hair and serious eyes. She had run Haven's Rest for 15 years. Nothing happened on the station without her knowing about it. "Sit down, Chen," she said, without looking up from her desk computer. Marcus sat in the uncomfortable chair across from her. "Explain to me how a prisoner escaped from our detention center," Williams said. Her voice was calm, but Marcus could hear anger underneath. "System malfunction, Commander," Marcus said. He tried to keep his voice steady. "The electromagnetic storms from the nearby asteroid have been causing problems with our electronics all week." Williams looked at him for a long moment. "The maintenance logs show no reported problems with the detention system." Marcus felt sweat on his forehead. "The malfunction happened suddenly. By the time I realized there was a problem, the prisoner was already gone." "And the security cameras?" "The same electromagnetic interference corrupted the video files. Everything from that section of the station is just static." Williams leaned back in her chair. "Chen, you have been a good officer for 3 years. Your record is clean. But this is a very serious incident. Galactic Enforcement is sending investigators." Marcus felt his stomach drop. GE investigators were thorough and smart. If they found any evidence of his deception, he would spend the next 10 years in prison. "I understand, Commander. I will cooperate fully with the investigation." "You better," Williams said, "because if I find out you helped that alien escape, I will personally make sure you never work in security again." Marcus left the office feeling sick. He went to the cafeteria and sat with his coffee, trying to look normal. Other security officers talked quietly about the escaped prisoner. Some blamed poor equipment. Others wondered if there might be more aliens hiding on the station. Tom Rodriguez, Marcus's partner, sat down across from him. "Rough night, huh?" "Yeah," Marcus said. "I still cannot believe she got away." "What did she look like?" Tom asked. "I heard she had blue skin." Marcus described Zareth carefully, leaving out details about her sadness and her children. He made her sound like any other criminal. "Weird," Tom said. "I wonder what she wanted with our data. Probably looking for weak points in our defenses," Marcus lied. Good thing she did not find anything important. The next 3 days were the longest of Marcus's life. The GE investigators arrived on Wednesday. There were 2 of them, Agent Hayes and Agent Park. They interviewed every person on the station. They examined every piece of equipment in the detention center. They studied the electromagnetic data from the nearby asteroids. When they interviewed Marcus, he stuck to his story. System malfunction. Corrupted video. Escaped prisoner. He had practiced the lies so many times that they almost felt true. "Tell me about your conversation with the prisoner," Agent Hayes said. "She was a small woman with sharp eyes that seemed to see everything. She told me her name was Zareth. She said she was from the Velkari people. She claimed she was looking for information about empty worlds. Did you believe her?" Marcus shrugged. "Criminals say many things to get sympathy. I did not pay much attention to her stories." Agent Park leaned forward. "Did she seem dangerous to you?" "Not physically dangerous," Marcus said. "But data theft is still a serious crime. I was planning to let GE decide what to do with her." The investigators asked many more questions. They wanted to know about Marcus's background, his family, his finances. They were looking for reasons why he might help an alien spy. Marcus answered honestly about everything except the escape. On Friday, the investigators finished their work. They called all the security officers together for a final meeting. "We have concluded that this escape was caused by equipment failure," Agent Hayes announced. "The electromagnetic storms in this region are stronger than normal this month. The detention system was not properly shielded against this type of interference." Marcus felt relief wash over him. They believed his story. "However," Agent Park continued, "this incident shows serious problems with station security. We are recommending immediate upgrades to all detention and monitoring systems." Commander Williams looked unhappy but nodded. "We will implement all recommended changes." After the investigators left, Marcus thought his troubles were over. But whispers followed him around the station. Some people said he was incompetent for letting a prisoner escape. Others wondered if there was more to the story. Marcus tried not to care about the whispers. He did his job and kept to himself. At night, he wondered about Zareth. Had she made it home safely? Was she able to use the information to help her people? He would probably never know. 2 weeks after the escape, Marcus was working the night shift again. The station felt normal. The new security systems had been installed. The investigators were gone. Life had returned to its usual boring routine. Marcus was checking the docking bay when he heard an unusual sound. A ship was requesting permission to dock. This was strange because no ships were scheduled to arrive until morning. He checked his communication device. The message was coming through diplomatic channels. Someone was requesting an emergency meeting with station leadership. Marcus called Commander Williams. She sounded annoyed at being woken up, but diplomatic emergencies were rare and important. "Put them through to my office," Williams said. "And Chen? Get down here. I want security present for this meeting." Marcus hurried to the command center. Commander Williams was already there, looking more awake than anyone should at 3 in the morning. On the main screen was a Velkari face Marcus did not recognize. It was an older male with silver skin and wise eyes. "I am Wise Speaker Korthal, of the Velkari people," the alien said in perfect standard. "I request permission to dock and meet with your leadership." Williams looked confused. "This is unexpected, Wise Speaker. May I ask the purpose of your visit?" "I come to thank someone on your station for an act of great kindness," Korthal said, "and to discuss a matter of mutual benefit between our peoples." Marcus felt his heart start beating faster. This could not be about him. Could it? "Very well," Williams said. "You have permission to dock. But this meeting must follow all diplomatic protocols." "Of course," Korthal said. "I should mention that I am traveling with someone you have met before. The scout Zareth insisted on coming with me." Marcus felt the blood drain from his face. Zareth was coming back. She was coming back, and she was bringing a government official with her. This could only mean trouble. Williams noticed his expression. "Chen? Are you feeling all right? You look pale." "Just tired, Commander," Marcus said. It has been a long shift, but Marcus was not tired. He was terrified. In a few minutes, he would have to face the consequences of his decision. He just hoped he would have the courage to handle whatever came next. Marcus stood in the docking bay with Commander Williams and 3 other security officers. His hands were shaking slightly, so he clasped them behind his back. The Velkari diplomatic ship was small, but beautiful. Its hull seemed to change colors like oil on water. The airlock opened with a soft hiss. Wise Speaker Korthal stepped out first. He was taller than Zareth and moved with the dignity of someone used to making important decisions. His silver skin was marked with intricate patterns that seemed to tell stories. Behind him came Zareth. Marcus felt his breath catch in his throat. She looked healthier than before. Her blue skin was brighter, and her silver eyes sparkled with something that looked like hope. She wore formal robes instead of the simple gray clothes from their first meeting. When Zareth saw Marcus, she smiled. It was a small smile, but it made Marcus feel both relief and terror at the same time. "Commander Williams," Wise Speaker Korthal said, with a formal bow, "thank you for agreeing to this meeting. I am honored to be welcomed aboard your station." "The honor is ours, Wise Speaker," Williams replied. She was clearly nervous about hosting her first alien diplomatic meeting. "How can we assist you?" "We come with a specific purpose," Korthal said. "We wish to speak with Security Officer Marcus Chen about a matter of great importance to both our peoples." All eyes turned to Marcus. Commander Williams looked confused and slightly worried. The other security officers stared at Marcus like they had never seen him before. Marcus stepped forward, his heart pounding. "I am Marcus Chen." Zareth spoke for the first time. "Honored Marcus, you gave me great kindness when we met before. That kindness has changed the future of my people." Commander Williams looked shocked. "You two have met before? Chen, what is she talking about?" Marcus felt the moment of truth arriving. He could lie again, try to cover up what he had done. But looking at Zareth and seeing the hope in her eyes, he found he could not do it. "Commander," Marcus said slowly, I need to tell you something about the prisoner who escaped 2 weeks ago. Williams's face went pale. Chen, what did you do? Before Marcus could answer, wise speaker Korthal raised one of his 4 hands. If I may, Commander, allow me to explain what happened and why we are here. Korthal walked to the center of the group. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of age and wisdom. 2 weeks ago, Scout Zarath returned to our world with information that saved 40 million lives. She brought detailed surveys of worlds that could serve as refuge for our dying people. But more importantly, she brought proof that humans are capable of great compassion. Marcus felt his mouth go dry. This was it. His career was over. Your security officer Chen found Zarath accessing your data systems, Korthal continued. By your laws, he should have turned her over to authorities for punishment. Instead, he listened to her story. He learned about our suffering people, and he made a choice that showed the true character of humanity. Commander Williams stared at Marcus in disbelief. You let her go. You helped her escape. Yes, Marcus said quietly. I did. Williams looked angry enough to explode. But before she could speak, Korthal continued. In our long history, we have encountered many races. Most follow their laws blindly, even when those laws cause suffering. But Marcus Chen chose compassion over convenience. He risked his career to help strangers he had never met. Zarath stepped forward. Because of his kindness, my people found hope. We located suitable worlds using the information he provided. We have begun evacuating our most vulnerable populations. My 3 younglings are safe on a new world with clean air and stable sunlight. Marcus felt tears in his eyes. Your children are safe? Yes, Zarath said. They play under foreign stars, but they are alive and healthy. This gift came from your courage. Commander Williams looked back and forth between Marcus and the aliens. I still do not understand. Why are you here now? Why reveal what Marcus did? Wise speaker Korthal smiled. Because we wish to repay his kindness. We come to offer humanity something precious. Korthal reached into his robes and pulled out a small, crystalline object. It was about the size of a human fist and pulsed with soft inner light. The crystal seemed to contain swirling galaxies of color that moved in patterns too complex to follow. This is a Velkari memory stone, Korthal explained. It contains the complete scientific and cultural knowledge of our civilization, our advances in biotechnology, sustainable energy, environmental restoration, and much more. Marcus stared at the crystal in amazement. You want to give this to us? Not to all humans, Korthal said. To you, Marcus Chen. You showed us that humans can choose kindness over duty. This proves that our peoples can be true allies, not just trading partners. Commander Williams looked stunned. The value of such knowledge would be incalculable, Korthal agreed. We have never shared our core technologies with another species before, but Marcus's actions convinced us that humanity possesses something rare in the galaxy. The wisdom to use power responsibly. Zarath approached Marcus and held out the memory stone. This contains everything we know about healing, growing food in difficult places, and cleaning polluted environments. Technologies that could help billions of humans live better lives. Marcus took the crystal with shaking hands. It felt warm and seemed to pulse in rhythm with his heartbeat. I cannot accept this. I only did what felt right. That is exactly why you deserve it, Korthal said. Someone who seeks no reward for doing good is the perfect person to be trusted with great power. Commander Williams stepped closer to examine the crystal. What exactly does this contain? Medical techniques that can extend human life by decades, Zarath explained. Methods for growing crops in space or on dead planets. Ways to clean poison from air and water. Peaceful technologies that improve life for everyone. We have one condition, Korthal added. This knowledge must be shared freely with all human governments, not kept secret by any one group. It is a gift to humanity, not to any single nation or organization. Marcus looked at the crystal in his hands. A few weeks ago, He was a simple security guard on a boring mining station. Now he held technologies that could change the future of human civilization. There is something else, Zareth said softly. My people want to establish the first formal alliance between Valkyrie and humans. We want to work together, share knowledge, and help each other grow. An alliance built on trust instead of fear, Korthal added. Thanks to Marcus's example, we believe humans can be the partners we have been seeking. Commander Williams shook her head in amazement. Chen, you realize what you have done? You have established first contact with an alien civilization. You have secured technologies that could revolutionize human society. And you did it all by breaking the rules. Marcus looked around at the faces surrounding him. 2 weeks ago, these same people thought he was incompetent. Now they looked at him like he was some kind of hero. I just helped someone who needed it, Marcus said. Anyone would have done the same thing. Zareth and Korthal exchanged glances. They both smiled sadly. No, Marcus Chen, Korthal said. Most people would not have done the same thing. That is what makes you, and your species, so special. 6 months later, Marcus Chen stood in a laboratory that had not existed before his decision to help Zareth. The lab was built in the largest section of Haven's Rest Station, which had been transformed from a simple mining outpost into something much more important. Human and Valkyrie scientists worked side by side at gleaming tables covered with equipment Marcus did not understand. The air hummed with quiet energy from machines that seemed to grow plants faster than should be possible. In one corner, a Valkyrie doctor was teaching human medics how to heal broken bones in minutes instead of weeks. Marcus watched Dr. Sarah Kim, the chief human researcher, examine a seed that glowed with soft green light. Next to her stood Healer Vorthan, an elderly Valkyrie scientist who had arrived with the second diplomatic mission. The growth rate is incredible, Dr. Kim was saying. These modified plants can grow in pure sand and produce twice the nutrition of normal crops. Marcus, you need to see this. Marcus walked over to their workstation. On the table was a small pot filled with ordinary sand from the asteroid belt. Growing from it was a plant that looked like wheat, but its stems were silver and its grain heads sparkled like jewels. This is the result of combining human agricultural science with Valkyrie bioshaping techniques, Healer Vorthan explained in his careful standard. These plants will grow on worlds that seemed hopeless before. Dr. Kim grinned with excitement. The farming colonies that have been struggling for years could become self-sufficient overnight. We could feed billions of additional people. Marcus smiled, but he felt overwhelmed by the changes around him. The simple memory stone Zareth had given him contained knowledge that human scientists were still discovering. Every week brought new breakthroughs in medicine, agriculture, and environmental repair. Marcus, called Commander Williams, from across the lab. She approached with a tablet in her hand and a smile on her face. The latest report from Earth. Williams had been promoted to Director of Interspecies Relations, a job that had not existed before Marcus met Zareth. The mining operation continued, but Haven's Rest had become much more important as the center of human-Valkyrie cooperation. What does it say? Marcus asked. The medical techniques we shared have eliminated 3 types of cancer completely. Williams read from the tablet. The atmospheric processors are cleaning the pollution from Mars twice as fast as predicted. And the new food production methods have ended hunger on 6 colony worlds. Marcus felt a warm feeling in his chest. Somewhere in the galaxy, children were healthier because of what started with his choice to help Zareth. There is more, Williams continued. The President of the Earth Council wants to give you the Humanitarian Service Medal, the highest honor they can grant a civilian. Marcus shook his head. I do not want any medals. I just did what felt right. That attitude is exactly why you deserve it, said a familiar musical voice behind him. Marcus turned to see Zareth entering the lab. She visited Haven's Rest, often now, as the official Valkyrie liaison. She had learned to speak standard perfectly, but her voice still carried the beautiful music of her native language. How are your children? Marcus asked. This was always his first question when he saw her. Zareth's face brightened with joy. Kethal has started his advanced studies in bioengineering. He wants to design plants that can grow in the deep space stations. Varath has learned to sing in both Velkari and Standard. She performs for the youth groups on our new settlement worlds, and little Nothal asks even more questions than before. He wants to be a diplomat like wise speaker Korthal when he grows up. Marcus felt happiness fill his heart. Those 3 children he had never met were alive and thriving because of one decision he made in a moment of compassion. I have news, Zareth continued. Wise speaker Korthal wants to invite you to visit our new primary settlement. He says it is time for you to see what your kindness has built. Marcus looked around the busy lab. I do not know if I can leave. There is so much work here. Dr. Kim overheard him. Marcus, you have to go. The work here will continue. But you need to see the results of what you started. Besides, we could use detailed observations of how the Velkari are adapting to their new worlds. Zareth smiled. The settlement is on a world your people called Kepler. 442C. Cold and dry. Just as your surveys said. But now it blooms with life. Cities that grow from the ground like living things. Farms that flourish in soil that should be barren. Children playing under an orange sun. It sounds beautiful, Marcus said. It is, Zareth replied. But the most beautiful thing is knowing that 40 million people have a future because one human chose kindness over rules. Marcus felt embarrassed by the praise. Anyone would have done the same thing. I'm leaving run 17. Zareth and Williams exchanged glances. They had this conversation with Marcus many times. Marcus, Williams said gently, most people would have followed the regulations. They would have turned Zareth over to GE and never thought about her again. You chose differently because you have something special inside you. What is special about helping someone in trouble? Marcus asked. Healer Vorthan looked up from his work. In our studies of galactic civilizations, we have found that compassion for strangers is extremely rare. Most species help only their own kind. Some help allies for mutual benefit. Very few help desperate enemies simply because it is right. Zareth was not my enemy, Marcus protested. To your government she was, Vorthan replied. She had committed crimes against human law. Helping her was dangerous for you. But you looked past law to see suffering. And you chose to ease that suffering. This is what makes humans remarkable. Marcus walked to one of the lab windows and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, Velkari children were growing up on new worlds. Human colonies were thriving with improved technology. 2 species that had never worked together were building something better than either could achieve alone. Do you ever regret what you did? Zareth asked, joining him at the window. Marcus thought about the question. His life had become more complicated since that night in the detention center. People called him a hero. But he did not feel like one. He had simply made a choice that felt right in his heart. No, he said finally. I do not regret it. But I still do not understand why everyone thinks it was so special. Round. Zareth placed one of her hands on his shoulder. Because, my friend, you showed the galaxy that some people will choose love over law, compassion over convenience, hope over fear. In a universe full of darkness, you chose to be light. Marcus watched a Velkari transport ship dock with the station. More scientists and diplomats coming to work on projects that would help both species. In the ship's wake, he could see human vessels carrying aid to Velkari settlements. What happens now? Marcus asked. Now we build the future together, Zareth said. Humans and Velkari as true partners. Other species are watching our alliance. Some are asking if they too could find such friendship with humanity. Williams joined them at the window. The Andorian Trade Union sent a diplomatic message last week. They want to discuss cooperation. The Cetacean Alliance has expressed interest in our environmental restoration techniques. Marcus felt amazed by how much had grown from his simple decision to help one desperate mother. All of this started because I let you go, he said to Zareth. No, Zareth replied with a gentle smile. All of this started because you chose to listen. You chose to care about someone different from yourself. You chose to see me as a person instead of a problem. Marcus nodded slowly. He was beginning to understand what made his choice unusual. In a galaxy where most beings looked out only for themselves and their own kind, simple human compassion was indeed rare and powerful. As he watched human and Velkari workers preparing for another day of shared discovery, Marcus Chen realized that sometimes the smallest acts of kindness could change the course of history. All it took was the courage to choose love when the world expected you to choose fear. The future was brighter because of that choice, and Marcus finally understood that this was what made humans special in the vast darkness of space.